I feel like any business, anybody, entrepreneur, anything you're doing, you need that work ethic and grit, no matter how times are getting rough or whatever. Because if you don't and you fold,
What is up, everyone? It is Blake VP. I am here today with Dominick Lewis, the #1 coach in the world, reigning from Los Angeles and currently in the Bay. I wanted to talk to him about his overall journey. He inspires people on a day-to-day basis, and he's had so many different transitions in his world that I thought it would be super incredible to have a part of it today. So thank you so much for coming today, man. I'm looking forward to the discussions. We're just gonna jump right into it and get started, and just tell us about yourself. Like, who are you and what do you do?
for sure. Thank you, Blizzy Blake. Definitely appreciate it and bringing me on here. Well, first and foremost, Dominick Lewis, born and raised from Los Angeles, California. Mostly grew up in San Fernando Valley. Attended Taft High School, Woodland Hills, California. That's where my journey of basketball, I think, really kind of took off for me. Played with some top guys, played with Spencer Dinwiddie, plays for Brooklyn Nets. That was actually my teammate, graduated with him as well. And a couple other great guys as well. DeAndre Daniels went to Connecticut, and, list goes on. Got the opportunity to learn and fall in love with the game. And that's where I really feel like that work ethic and that grit and that drive came from. Um, so yeah, moving forward, got competitively in basketball, won a championship my senior year, LA City, Division 1 against Westchester. Then moving forward, wanted to attend a couple schools, like Division 3 or Division 2. I didn't get nothing, crazy, no Division 1 offers, nothing like that. Not especially when you're not like 6'6", you know what I'm saying? I ain't getting out there, but I had the wet ball, so it was all good. But wanted to walk on at Howard University. Actually, went to a Black Expo in LA my junior year, and kind of that's the whole HBCU vibe came from. And I think Blake, you kind of relate to it, like LA, like the Greek life, the HBU stuff. Like you don't really see that. You know what I'm saying? You know about USC, you know about UCLA, Cal States, all the good stuff like that. But that's where I feel like I've kind of fell in love with Howard. So obviously found out some information, and obviously made that commitment. Wanted to walk on at Howard. Kind of didn't really want to work out. They wanted me to play like this, kind of like a JV level below, which to me was kind of like an insult because it was like I played with guys who were in the NBA. But it was all good. Was actually going to transfer though. Was talking to a school at Whittier College, and I was going to go play basketball. I was going to actually leave, but then I got an internship with an NBA trainer by the name of Hanif Hill, and from there, that's kind of when I fell in love. Again, it's still basketball, right? But that's what was like another perspective. Like, okay, I'm not hooping right now. I could go transfer. I could go, try to do that route. But realistically, what is that going to lead me? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I still want to be in part of the game, and how can I do that? So obviously, when I got that internship, um, opened the doors for me, honestly, into the training business and training world of basically what I'm doing now, and the coaching world. Learned a lot from Hanif. Got an opportunity to coach a whole bunch of different Under Armour camps because he's an Under Armour ambassador there, and led all their trainings and top guys from, fourth grade, fifth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, high school level. And just be able to coach and train them, that was a huge opportunity, and I learned so much. And honestly, that's kind of where it took off. Graduated from Howard, obviously took the working route as well. I was a director of operations at a sports performance facility. So I have a big background of athletics as a whole and operations. So I think that's kind of helps me in my training business and how I operate and how I move and how I organize things a lot, because I know how to kind of run a business and a company. Not trying to like toot my own horn, but um, but just giving that knowledge. But luckily, all that hard work though from basketball, and from competing at a basketball player, led to off the court. I was able to coach and be able to do my operations and still doing my job now. Basically what I'm doing now, I'm a regional manager. at La Garza Sports out here in the Bay Area. So, but yeah, moving forward though, just start boosting my resume up and just trying to learn from a lot, attending coaching clinics, coaching high school basketball, from boys varsity, and now I'm doing right now girls varsity at Monroe Catholic out here in Hayward, California. And then this past season, we just won an NCS championship. So honestly, man, it's been a great journey for me, and a lot of hiccups and a lot of tough times. But I think what got me was that work ethic and that drive and that grit. And I feel like any business, anybody, entrepreneur, anything you're doing, you need that work ethic and grit, no matter how times are getting rough or whatever. Because if you don't and you fold, you know what I'm saying, where you're gonna be.
Super interesting too. Like one thing that you were saying is just like persistence, but also like the quick ability to push a pivot, right? Like you had aspirations of like, all right, let's play and like let's see where we realign to where you are today, right? Like I don't want to tap into that. Is just how do you overall make your decisions in terms of, all right, it's time to switch up, or like maybe I can do it, because it seems like from our interaction you've had an open mind towards everything, but how do you make your clear and concise decisions?
How do I make my decisions? Honestly, number one thing is I trust in God, man. Whenever I think this is a good thing to do, or a good opportunity to take, or a risk to take, that's the first thing I do. I trust in Him, and I kind of let Him just lead the way, and I kind of take that faith in, man, and go with my gut feeling, and of course any research I could do, or of course I take all that in consent and acknowledge. But honestly, number one thing, bro, I kind of just trust in God, and I know He's gonna lead the way, bro. And regardless if it's a decision, maybe, hey, it didn't work out as planned, but I figured I learned from that situation to make me better, and I could overcome, the next obstacle that appears in the future. So that's how, honestly, man, I don't have anything as far as like, this is something that I do, this is something that I write down. Like I can't say that I do. I trust my gut, and I speak to the Lord, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said something too that really like stuck out is you initially were playing, but then now you're in the position of coaching. And it's as if you went from being a player to the actual game in itself. And when I say that, I'm thinking of you just being your own entity. So let's just deep dive into overall how you started your brand and what you're doing right now with everything going on.
Definitely. Well, starting my brand, man, it's funny. After I got that internship with Hanif Hill, obviously I'm still attending school, I'm still doing coaching, but training's different, right? It's a different obstacle to take. Anybody could coach. I could go try to go be on a high school team, middle school, AAU. There's so much resources to be there. But I feel like to be successful in training, one, you have to have the knowledge. So things that I did to boost up my brand is attend coaching clinics. And one coaching clinic that I attend, a wonderful trainer, he's actually an LA coach right now, the assistant coach right now, Phil Handy. Got an opportunity to actually talk to him and deep dive and ask questions about his training, his brand, and basically how he started he was only charging people $20, and it was funny because that's how I did. During college, I come back home to LA. I would hit up kids from high school that I knew that went to school, maybe freshmen, you know what I'm saying, that are now juniors now because I'm in college, whatever.
Yeah.
And charge them like $10. And honestly, just trying to research and get better every single time, and charging $10, boosting up my brand when I getting college players and start say, hey, I'll train you for free, bro. Let me film you a couple times.
Let me stop right there. Like you were mentioning that you would charge like just very small amounts of money because it was bigger than overall seeing a profit. And that was the long-term investment that you're making, right? Like, instead of saying I could charge, because you could have charged 50 to a couple hundred just to participate in the clinics, but having these clients, and it seems as if you have very personal relationships with the people that you're working with, you would take that that small investment, because your time definitely is worth a lot. So instead of the $10, you know that you're spending more in that. But
Mm-hmm.
long term, it helps you get more like clientele and helps you build more relationships too.
Yeah. That's the number one thing for me. Like, I don't really do it for the money. Because it's a lot of time and effort on the weekends. Like, you know what I'm saying? I work during the week, and you know what I'm saying? My girlfriend get like preached to it. Like, I'm out the house at 8 a.m. I'm not coming in till like 4. You know what I'm saying? Just from literally training, you know, group clients to personal clients. And it's really like you just said, the personal relationships and how I can inspire each kid. Because each of these kids have a story. Like it regardless of color, regardless of it's a he or she, where they are, where they're coming from, if they're, you know what I'm saying, it, they have a story. And if I could be there to help them and motivate them and give them confidence and give them the skills, not even just on the court, but off the court as well, as far as a mindset, as far as your work ethic, like I said, like things that I learned, the things that I learned from my coach, like that's the biggest reward. When a kid reached out to me from, you know, 3-4 years that I trained or coach and just talks about me and saying, you know, thank you for inspiring me and thank you for motivating me. Not even really talk about basketball, but just talking about me as a person and our personal relationship and bond. That for me is like that for me is like the money. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so I know a lot of other trainers are different. They about their cash flow, and for sure, I'm not saying I'm not about the money. Like, I'm about the bag
I was
too.
gonna say he living
But
off
don't get it
dreams
twisted. Like, I'm
in the
about the
Bay.
bag. Like, that $10 price ain't $10 no more.
All
I
right,
don't
there
tell
you
you
go.
that. But for me though, if I see a kid got it, man, and he don't have the money or the funds, or maybe his family's not financially there, I'll train kid for free. Like, just because I know he needs that. He needs that mentor. He needs that person to push him and for good, right? And drive him to be great. So, or she.
Absolutely.
I got both.
You do have a lot, like a very mixed group and a very diverse group of people that are your clientele from different age ranges to ethnicities, races, all across the map.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and we can talk more about your YouTube channel that you do. Is that I feel like every person that comes in, no matter how many people there are, you can see the chemistry and relationship that each person is a new player that has such a long and built foundation. So how do you just connect with people?
Man, I connect people. I just think I'm a social guy, 1,000%.
Right.
I have a kind heart though, bro. Like, end of the day, I do have a tough guy ensemble sometimes, but um, I have a good heart and a genuine heart, and I'm just interested in people, and I'm just very friendly all the time. Like, regardless, if I see you walk on the street, I'm gonna say what's up. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for me, but for me, how I connect to, I think, to players, one, because I was a player, and two, I know how I know how a team works, in a sense. Like, I was on a very top national team. It was 10th in the nation. It was guys were in newspapers, interviews, sponsored by Nike, like all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it was so many different players that, and so many different personalities, that I felt like I know how. Don't know how to say it. What I'm gonna say, so we can cut that part. But anyways,
We're raw right here.
I know. But I'm trying to say, besides that, I was a player. I feel like I know the ins and outs of a team and what it takes to be on a good team, and what your role can be. Some players don't have everything, all the whole package, right? They don't have the height, they don't have the skill, they may just have a jump shot. But it's like, what are you gonna do with that skill? Okay, are you gonna sit there? You better be the best shooter on the goddamn team.
Right.
If you can't do anything else, you better be the best shooter on the team. So And that's how it is in a game. Like, if you think about the NBA, people get in the game for what? Shooting to shoot. Like, you sit in the corner, there's certain players to shoot. There's certain players that play defense. There's certain players that maneuver on the court to literally just do that job and then sit their ass right back on the bench.
Yeah.
Like, so I just try to get in that perspective because that's how teams are, and that's the crucial and the cruel part of sports in the world. Like, there's teams that literally only play 5 people or 6 people. Like, that's it. My high school included, my coach only had probably a 8-man, 9-man rotation, and we had a 15-man roster. So other guys didn't play. They didn't see playing time. So I think what I'm basically saying how I can connect is I've been through it. So if somebody's been through it, you could relate to it and you could help them maneuver and not make the mistakes that you did or make the mistakes that you see other people did from your teammates or from other players above you or whatever. Yeah. I think that's basically what I was saying when I fucked up.
No, you're good. We're leaving it in too. I'm gonna give you the heads up. But
it's all good.
I think it's interesting what you're saying is because it sounds like you're the A&R or the producer to that track, right? Where you're the person that you've been through it and you're not like the person that just shouts on the song and says it's your song. It's like you actually make music, you putting it in there like Dr. Dre. It's like you know how to produce it, you know how to rap, you know how to do everything, but you have all these different components and you put them together where it's like this girl's strength is jump shot, this person's strength is this. You know how to connect the pieces to the puzzle and you make it work too, which is very interesting. And that's what I want to know is what do you ultimately want to be your legacy and what do you want to leave behind after you know that that's what your strength is? Man,
that is a very great question. What I want my legacy to be, honestly, overall, I'll say to my training business first. So my training business, I want to make it to a facility. So basically, Coach Dominick's basketball training. You know what I'm saying? There's to sports performance training, meaning like speed and strength training, weight training, to nutrition, and obviously to the basketball court. And working on the skills of that. That's definitely for me long-term goal for sure. And that's what I want to do. As far as for me and my brand, as far as inspiring kids, I want to be one of the best trainers to ever step, like you just said, how you introduced me in the world. And I say that in the most humbly way. I don't say that in a cocky way. That's my goal. Because unfortunately, I was able to coach and train in DC, Maryland, and Virginia because of Howard when I went out there, staying out there because of the job. And now I'm back in the Bay Area, not in LA yet or the Valley yet, but I'm out here still making new connections, building my brand here. So, you know, hopefully if I do move on to another state or wherever I move, I hope I could just keep building that brand, that legacy, and everybody knows me to a point that it's just like this guy inspiring everybody. He's a great guy, and on top of that, he cares for each individual player. Like I can honestly say I care about each individual player from the 5-year-olds that I train all the way up to the high school to the college guys. Like you said, because it's about just that relationship and that bond. And again, that's about me more than the money. But I would say for me, that's what I want to do for my legacy, and that's what I want to leave, to know that I inspired others. And hopefully, maybe some of these young players will do the same and train. And, you know, when I'm old, they're out here doing this, you know, training and getting it popping too. So that's what I hope, man.
Do you have any inspirations or people you think of right now that you're trying to emulate or that have inspired you to want to be like that?
Definitely. I mentioned one, Phil Handy. Just having a conversation and knowing his story, like, he didn't have the easy route. Like, he did JC ball, like junior college basketball, went to only colleges out here in the Bay. Then he went to Skyline. Then he went to Hawaii. Then he went to overseas. Then he went to the league and only played in the league for a little bit. So I would say him for sure, because even after basketball, like, he didn't give up. Like, he kept continuing the training, and what inspired me to we could relate. He started for $20, and it's like, bro, your resume was way more packed than me, like for sure. But you know what I'm saying? But how he started a humble beginning, even though that was like, of course, a little back in time. And the last person I would say is Chris Brickley. He's in New York, and he does the Black Ops summer runs with the NBA players. You'll see it on James Harden. Everybody probably see it on Instagram. And yeah, man, knowing his story too, how he started from a very humble beginning. Like, you know, not there financially, didn't have that much money like in his bank account. Like he speaks about that. And basically, you know, worked out J.R. Smith awesome, just like, hey, I'll work you out. And dude, J.R. Smith loved the workout and kept going. And then from there, he built his brand. And for him, it looks like he cares and has a relationship really about the players.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with me too. Both him and Phil Handy. So those two guys, I would definitely say they inspire me to be better than them.
And it's just like putting that energy. I really believe that when you manifest, or if you just say that that's what you're trying to be, you'll eventually get that opportunity, right? Like you were saying that I'm going to become a coach. You became a coach. Then you became a manager. You have all these different perspectives, and you're saying a lot of the stuff where your legacy and what you want to leave behind, but it ties very closely to the stories of different individuals that you've named. And it aligns. You just have to keep going. And I think that the biggest part of your brand, right, like, is not that it's not about where you would like to be, it's where you're at right now. And right now, you've hit all those success points and you've done everything that you say you want to ultimately do. But like your legacy is now. And a lot of people aren't living that legacy that they have, right? Like you want to get a job so you can get here to here to here, and they don't have anything until they get to that final point. And you're at that point where you're like, you're there, you already got it. There is no yeah, of course you can relocate and make new decisions, but you already at that point. So like that's super awesome. And that was something that like really prompted me to want to just talk to you about it, because you just got a lot going on, you know, and you just want to be like the humble guy and everything. But I think that matches your persona, but people see it, and I feel it too. And I think it's very crucial because it inspires people where I don't have a business or I don't have anything like that. You've successfully made your passion into a business inadvertently without even thinking about it. And now you start making money from it too. So super
That's
dope.
crazy. I didn't think it was going to be to the way it is. Like if you asked me if I thought it was going to be, and I still have a lot of ways to go. I'm not even where close to, you know, I really want to get to NBA level, to, you know, up to like a Chris Brickley's par and all that. But
yeah,
if you ask me now, back then, like, man, I just laugh because I was really charging $10 and just out there just freestyling it, man. Like just, you know, not even really writing nothing down, just really just kind of going with the flow. And to look at it now, yeah, man, it's a lot. It was a grind, but I can say it's 1,000% worth it, man. And I love it.
Just got to get out there. You got to get out there, even if you don't have like that script. You mentioned that in the very beginning. It's like you didn't have anything calculated, but people are willing to work with you. You know, it's like, all right, he's charging $10. I don't expect much, but they got a lot out of it. They're like, yeah, I got way more than my money's worth. And it's like you might be winging it to you, but to them, they're like, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's not like fibbing where you're just like maliciously trying to tell people you got something you don't. You have a talent. And people see it. So like, that's awesome. Just want to just talk about a couple things. Let's shout you out. How can we find you, and like, what are you working on right now?
Working on currently, I have a little basketball series. Shout out to my cameraman, AJ. That's my guy. I'll talk a little bit quickly about him. He came to me on some very humbling beginning thing, and he kind of came up with this series and kind of got my videos to, you know, rebrand in a sense. I was doing everything myself, you know, like how you say I was the Dr. Dre doing everything, and you know, everybody need a little help. MJ has Scottie Pippen, you know what I'm saying? Everybody need a little bit of help. But basically, yeah, he came to me on some just humble stuff and like, hey man, like I would love to help with your brand. Like, you know, you've helped me a lot because I used to coach and train him as well. And he was just like, you know, I'm trying to get into this, more into video stuff. So, you know, I would love to do your videos, come, you know, to your training sessions, you know, come to your coach and to your games and stuff in the future or whatever. So I was like, bet, bro, you know, let's do it. So yeah, that's my guy, man. And he came up with this whole series. And now we have episode 5. We'll be filming this weekend. But right now we got 4 episodes. But it's called All or Nothing. Each episode is different, but basically it's just about me, basically what I just said about inspiring kids and try to take their skills to the next level and just prepare them, not even just for on the court, like I said, but off the court. So it's definitely dope. But yeah, you can find me at Coach Dominick on Instagram and also Coach Dominick Basketball Training on YouTube. And Blizzy Blake will give me a little subscribe join.
I'll get you right there. I'm gonna go right here, and then I'm gonna
like a boop, boop, right there. Yeah. Right there. We get something like
right.
that. You got different angles, so yeah. But
right.
But yeah, he'll do that as well. But yeah, man. And honestly, I would love for people to tune in and watch it. Even if you don't even like basketball like that, just tune in and watch it and let me know what you think. You know.
Of course.
If you don't like it, tell me you don't like it. You know.
Yeah.
What can I change? Because for me, I just want to make sure the basketball knowledge is there. Because I don't want to be teaching, you know what I'm saying, inconsistent things or horrible habits. So that's more important for me. But it's raw and live, like how Blake's saying, cutting nothing out. Like it's raw and live. And it really sees how I interact with all the kids and all my clients. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Dominick works these kids. You'll see it. He is really passionate about it.
Hey man, if y'all want to work out, let me know. Shit, I'll put y'all through a training workout. Y'all be
right.
It's good cardio.
No skips. I think I've watched hours of his footage and it's really amazing. So thank you once again. I really appreciate you. Everybody check him out. I'm gonna put the information down below. But thank you, man. Anything else that you want to tell people before we close out?
Man, 100%. I just want to say it's a crazy time out here, and especially for you know what I'm saying, the Black culture and the Black community. And I just wanted to say we all got to come together during this time. And Blake, I love what you're doing because at the end of the day, like this is helping the community. This is helping us. And yeah, man, everybody just be safe out here. And of course, Black Lives Matter all day, every day. And yeah, man, that's all the thing I got to really say. Yeah.
Of course. That's a good knowledge drop. So thank you so much, man. I will put this video up. I really appreciate you. And we look forward to checking you out and seeing what you got in the future.
Appreciate it. Busy Blakey. I appreciate you. The best man alive with the motherfucking cornrows. About to get mine too. Nah, man.